in your life, and that's fine. I'm gonna a little more yoga inspired today than we often are. But it's fine. It's still like laying on the floor stretches. So it'll be great. We'll start in child's pose. When you're ready, you can come to your shins, big toes touch, knees open nice and wide, arms walk forward, chest comes to the earth, head hangs as heavy as it can. We'll spend a few moments in this position, trying to calm down, bring your attention to our body and our space. Maybe you're breathing. If you find your attention wandering, great place to focus. Watching the inhales, exhales. Slowly, gently, we'll bring our hands underneath us. Bring our knees together, coming to tabletop, all fours. Once we found ourselves here, we'll drop our belly down and gaze up towards the sky, cow pose. And then slowly reversing it, cat pose, arching your back, gazing back towards our pelvis. And going back and forth between cat and cow, nice and slow, at your own pace. And leaving that, we'll find our flat back again, curling our toes underneath. We'll lift our knees off the earth, pushing our heels towards the ground, finding a down dog or down dog variation. We can pedal one heel and then the other towards the ground. Pushing our face towards the earth, like we're in the top of a push press, so our ears are by our biceps. Raising onto our tiptoes, we'll bring ourselves forward to the top of a push-up high plank, and then lower all the way down to our belly. Untuck our toes. Shrug our shoulders up towards our ears, down our back, lifting our face off the earth for a little back bend here. And then lowering face back down, curling toes under, lifting our hips up high, downward facing dog again. In our down dog here, we'll raise ourselves onto our tippy toes and then drop both heels over the right side of our space. So sort of twisted down dog. And then up to tippy toes, heels over the opposite side. Pushing into our palms to keep our hips high. Back onto our tippy toes again, and then push heels straight back behind us for our traditional down dog. From here, we're going to bring our right foot forward between our hands. You can certainly help it there or step it there, walk it there, however you want to get that right foot forward. And our back knee will come to the earth. Our back toes will untuck, and we'll hang out in a low lunge for a while. So finding a place you can be comfortable here. You want your hands on your thigh or on the earth or on some sort of water bottle or other device. Thinking about sinking our pelvis down towards the ground. Any discomfort in your knee, feel free to slip something underneath it, or try to set your weight more on the bottom of your thigh than the top of the kneecap. Trying to relax anything you don't need to be holding, so your head can hang heavy. If you've got any tension in your fingers or your shoulders, trying to let that be as loose as possible, so gravity does the work, lowering your body towards the earth here. is gonna be laying on our belly. So I'll tap us through one way, but if you wanna like flop over, that's great. Otherwise, we can curl our back toes under, lifting our back knee and hip off the earth, bringing our front leg back, find ourselves in the high plank, and then lowering down to our belly, or meeting on the belly if we're already there. From here, we're gonna slide our forearms in front of us to find a sphinx pose for a little deeper of a back bend. Elbows push into the earth, face lifts forward in front of us, nice long neck here. And then we'll lower our chest back down to the earth. Hands come underneath our shoulders, pushing into them, curl toes under, hips up high, downward facing dog again. Push into our palms, send those tailbones as high as you can. This time the left leg will step forward. We'll find our low lunge on the opposite side. Left foot between the front two hands, back knee finds the earth, back toes on top, or get here however works for you. In these long holds, letting gravity do the work, trying to just let our pelvis sink as low as it can without too much strain or striving. We'll meet up on our belly. Welcome to get there however you want. If you choose the vinyasa, our back toes will tuck under, back knee lifts off the earth, our front leg swoops back to meet back leg, and then we'll send ourselves a little bit forward to lower down onto our belly, untuck those toes, and we'll slide up into sphinx pose again. So forearms on the earth, shoulders shrug up, back, and down, lengthen through the neck, gaze in front of us. Slight squeeze of the glutes if you're feeling any discomfort in your low back. Spend a little bit longer here than we did last time as we get used to our back bends. And then lowering chest and face back to the earth, sliding our palms underneath our shoulders. Toes tuck under, hips come up high, downward facing dog. Gently we'll walk our hands to our feet or our feet to our hands, coming to a forward fold, hanging with our hips up high and our head and fingers heavy towards the earth. You can just let your arms dangle or grab opposite elbow if you like that. Finding stillness here if that works for you, or maybe rocking your weight towards the balls of your feet and then back to your heels, to the left side and the right side. Finding that middle spot, or maybe the spot towards your toes where you feel a little more of a stretch in your hamstring. Unwrapping your arms if they're held anyway, we'll bend our knees enough until our hands can come to the earth, walking ourselves back out to downward facing dog, that upside down V, pushing into palms. Our right leg can kick up towards the sky any amount, and then we're going to swing that right leg forward, coming to a lunge with the right leg forward again. Back knee can find the earth, back toes untucked. This time our weight's going to be in our left hand, but our right arm's going to reach up to the sky for a little twist here. You can lower that right arm behind your back, like you're trying to put it in like the front left pocket of your pants. A little extra twist here, if that feels good, or keep it up towards the sky, or resting on your low back. Some version of this twist here. Finding length in your left shoulder, left ear, so you're pushing actively into this left palm, growing long in our twisted lunge. We'll untwist our right arm, lowering it back down to the ground to frame our front foot. Meeting up in our bellies again, so option to curl back toes under, lift up that back leg, send this front leg back to meet it, high plank, lower down to our bellies, untuck our toes, shoulders shrug up towards our ears, and then we're coming to a cobra pose, or what is this? Cobra pose, some sort of lifting our chest off the earth variation. Then lowering our chest down, tucking toes under, hips up high, downward facing dog. Left leg lifts up into the air any amount, swings forward to step between the hands. Low lunge on the left side forward, right knee on the earth behind us, right toes on top. Finding the right palm grounded into the earth so the left arm can reach up to the air, a little spinal twist. Left arm can stay reaching up towards the sky, could find our low back, or reach around like you're trying to get something out of the front right pocket of your jeans. Pressing actively into the right palm to find some length in the right shoulder, while still trying to sink our hips low in our lunge. Left arm unwraps from wherever it is till the palm finds the earth. Meeting up on our bellies again, so back toe can tuck under, raise the back knee. Front leg steps back to find high plank, lower down into our belly. Untuck toes, shrug our shoulders up, pushing into our palms to lift our chest off the ground any amount. Lowering our face and chest back down to the earth. Tuck toes under, butts up high, downward facing dog. Walk hands to feet or feet to hands, meet in the middle, hanging forward fold again. This time option to interlace your hands behind your neck at the base of your skull for a little added traction here. Just a little extra weight pulling down on your head. You could nod yes or no here. Your hands behind your neck will bring them back to the earth, bending our knees enough till our hands find the ground, walking ourselves back out to downward facing dog. Push into those palms, sink your head between your biceps, hips up high towards the sky. Our right leg will kick up into the air any amount, and then right knee comes forward, you guessed it, between our front hands. Our back knee comes to the earth, back toes on top. This time we're bringing both hands inside the front foot. So both hands are inside the left, or to the left side of the right foot. And we're gonna walk our hands all the way over to our left side as much as possible. You can let that back leg kind of, 15, 45, 90 degrees spin around, however it works. So we're working for kind of the side lunging feel on the front leg. So whatever variation of this works for you, definitely feel free to pad your knee. Have your hands on some sort of off the ground item if that helps. Finding a frog dragon combination stretch here. Okay, pals, walk our hands back towards the front of your mat, where this is a yoga class, to frame the front foot. We're gonna actually come back to tabletop as our in-between stop. So bring that front knee back to meet your back knee. We're gonna come into a narrow child's pose. So knees come close to touching, if not quite touching, toes close together. We'll send our butt back, forward fold in a child's pose with our knees close together between sides. And raising ourselves back up to tabletop, knees back to hip distance apart if they're not quite there. Tucking your toes under, hips up high, downward facing dog again. Just here for a moment, and then our left leg swings high into the air, or as high as you want. Left foot steps forward between our front hands, back knee finds the earth, back toes on top. This time we're spinning over to the right side, so both hands come to the inside of the left leg, and then walk over. Now I'm all twisted around. Over towards your right knee as much as possible. Fine for that right toe to pivot in a little bit for our Dragon. Slowly, hands walk back towards the front. Ugh, frame that front left foot. Right toes. Oh, I lied. Left foot comes back to meet the right knee. So we're coming to our narrow child's pose again, briefly between sides. So sending butt back to our heels, arms reach out, lowering head and chest down towards the ground. And from here, rising up to tabletop, knees come back to hip distance apart, curl those toes underneath, pushing balls of feet to the earth, hips come high, downward facing dog. Slowly walking hands to feet or feet to hands or a hanging forward fold again. Option to just dangle your arms if you like that. Otherwise, we can do a big toe pose, Padangusthasana. So we're going to take our pointer finger and slip it between our big toe and our second toe so that we've got a nice little hook on our toe. You can certainly have a bend in your knee to get yourself there. And then think about straightening our legs while we're pulling on our toes to bring our head closer to the earth. If you don't like touching your toes, you don't have to do this. We can dangle hanging forward. Maybe rocking your weight into the balls of your feet again can help intensify the stretch in our hamstrings. Or being more passive is great too. For grabbing our toes, we can release that. Bending our knees enough till our hands come to the earth, walking ourselves out to down dog again, pedaling opposite heels to the ground, stretching out our legs from that stretch. Few more times through this variation of leg forward one at a time. So our right leg up, swing that right leg forward, right foot finds the ground for a lunge, left knee to the earth, left toes on top. This time we're going to shift our weight back so our hips are over our left knee. So I've got my right leg extended straight in front of me and my hips are right over my left knee. Then I'm forward folding over this extended right leg. Going for a one-sided hamstring stretch here. Half splits is what this is called. Okay, we'll send our weight forward till our hands can come to the ground by our front right foot. We'll slide that right leg back behind us, come and do our tabletop. Fingers spread wide, palms underneath our shoulders. We're gonna do some side to side cat cow. So marauding bear is a fancy name, but we're just gonna squeeze one shoulder and hip together and then the other, side to side. And then leaving that, we'll do a traditional cat cow. So drop belly, gaze up, and reverse. A few of those. And then finding stillness, curl toes under, hips up high, downward facing dog yet again. This time it's left leg's turn to go up into the air, left foot forward between our hands, back knee to the earth, back right toes untuck, and our hips come back over our right knee for a half split stretch on this side, left leg extended long in front of us. Okay, walking our hands, our weight forward over the front left foot. We're gonna tuck those back toes under, slide this left leg back to meet the right, top of a plank, lowering down to our belly, untuck our toes, shrug our shoulders up towards our ears, pushing into our palms for any sort of back bend, maybe a full up dog, maybe not. And then our toes tuck under, our hips up high, downward facing dog. Hands walk to feet, feet walk to hand for a hanging forward fold. Our final one of these today, do whatever you want of our previous choices, or if you'd like to try Padahastasana, we're gonna put the back of our hands on the earth, so we bend our knees enough to get that to happen. Slide our fingertips underneath our feet, so we're standing on the palms of our hands, and then think about straightening our legs here, folding forward. So good. Ugh. All right, nice and gentle. Pull your hands out from underneath your feet if they're there. Whew. We're gonna slowly walk ourselves back to our downward facing dog yet again. Nice wide fingers pushing into our palms, Pushing our heels down, hips high. One more time, our right leg goes up into the air, and then we're coming to pigeon this time. So our right knee comes towards our right wrist, and then our shin is on the earth of the right foot, or right leg. Our left toe slides back behind us, left knee to the earth. Yeah, pigeon. You know what pigeon is. So right knee forward pigeon is what we're going for. You can definitely do a forward fold, rest yourself on a pillow, prop something under your butt if you feel unlevel and you don't like that. If on your belly doesn't work, we can flip over and do the same thing upside down, just holding our shin, totally the same stretch, a little less aggressive with the gravity. Ugh. We're here for a while longer, so finding comfort wherever you are. Maybe after a while there's space to move your left leg farther back or your chest closer to the earth. Or maybe it's time to flip over to a different variation of this if it's not working for you. Any discomfort in your right knee, we can try to flex our right ankle more, and that will hopefully alleviate it. If it still feels ouchy in the knee, definitely getting our weight off of our knee is a good choice here. Okay, pigeons. Ugh, we can walk our hands back underneath us and get ourselves back to tabletop, however that works. I kind of fall over to one butt cheek and then slide myself around. Cool. Ugh. In tabletop, we're gonna go straight to the other side. So toes tucked under, hips high, heels pushed towards the earth, downward facing dog. One last time. Left leg up into the air. And then this time the left knee comes forward behind the left wrist. Right knee finds the earth. Pigeon on the other side. Totally fine if this side is different than the other. Maybe your pelvis is at a slightly different angle or you need to flip it around. Finding what works for you and your hips today. while longer. So taking a moment to decide if you can get a little bit deeper into the stretch or relax some area you're holding, you don't need to, or being fine right where you are. Okay. Ugh. Finding our way to tabletop again, maybe rolling over to a side and making our way there. We're sliding our knees back. Whew. Yes, nice work, stretchers. We got one more deep thing coming your way and then we're done. So from tabletop, we're gonna find frog pose. So for frog pose, we're broadening our knees out to either side as wide as they can go, possibly to the point that your toes are pointing out to the sides of you. So you're on the insides of your feet. And then we can lower ourselves down to the ground and you mount here. To make the stretch more intense, we can send our butt back towards our heels, or sending our butt away from our heels to be more on our bellies can make it a little bit more gentle. And also sliding your knees closer together or farther apart intensifies the stretch too. If this is just not working for you, flipping it over is also a choice. We can come at an upside down frog, just hanging out in our wide-legged, I don't know, sumo squat kind of, yeah. Here for a little while longer, so choosing to stay where you are, to maybe broaden where your knees are, send your butt back towards your heels a little bit more, or find a little bit more relief from the intensity of the stretch as you need. Okay, to get out of this, I like to just send my chest forward until I'm flopping on it, and then can bring my legs together behind myself. If there's some other way you want to get out of this, be my guest. Eventually, we're gonna roll onto our back and hug our knees into our chest in a little cannonball. Oh, take your time getting there, and once you're there, we'll rock gently side to side. Next time both knees are to the left side, they can fall all the way over. We'll gaze over our right shoulder, maybe even reaching out with the right arm. And knees up through center, twisting on the opposite side briefly, letting knees fall to the right side of our space, gazing over a left shoulder. And knees back into the middle. Maybe arranging your hips and shoulders if they got a little askew. We'll bring our arms up between our knees, grabbing our shins, our ankles, our big toes, rocking side to side in happy baby pose here. And then squeezing our knees together, giving them one last hug to our chest. We'll extend our legs long for our final rest for this class. Maybe tucking shoulder blades together underneath you, letting your backs of the hands find the earth by your hips. Or choosing a different position that works for you if you want to keep your feet on the earth or to lay on your side. Finding some place where you don't have to do much work to lay here. Maybe your eyes flutter shut. Maybe you can quiet the mind. Or if that's too much to ask on a Thursday, we can pay attention to our inhales and exhales for a moment of calmness. Bringing movement back to our body by wiggling our fingers and toes. Maybe nodding head side to side. Gently as you're ready, curling over to a fetal position on one side of your body. Exhaling out all your air. Having a nice slow inhale through the nose and out through the nose or mouth, whatever calls to you. Another big inhale and exhale. Once you're ready, using the strength of your body, of your arms, push yourself up to upright. Yay, stretching. Thanks for coming to class, y'all.